And we're live. Yes, we are live, people. We are so excited. Welcome to yet another edition of our PCS Impact Q&A. I am your host, MJ Boyce, the Director of Community Outreach here at PCS Grades. Boom! As you can see, I've got a lovely tree because it is our holiday shindig and our year in review. Oh, by the way, people, we're giving away tons and tons of prizes. Today, we're going to announce the winners of our 12 days of holiday giving. Yes, we've got some stuff for you. Additionally, we've got plenty of updates to give you, all the good things that we've done this year. We want to hear from you. Actually, because today we don't have a guest, you are all our guests. That's right. I'm going to be interacting with each and every one of you. But before we do, we're going to go down that rabbit hole with those housekeeping items as we do every week. Ready, set, here we go. All right, people, we've got the answers. And if we don't have those answers, guess what? We know who does. And if we don't know either of those things, we're going to take your questions for action and get back to you with an answer. Speaking of questions, comments, concerns, shout outs, go ahead and drop those in the comments section right there below. And you could be entered to win one of the numerous prizes that we have. By the way, tag a friend, you're entered to win another prize. Oh, by the way, share this with your people, another prize. Yes, and then it gives them a chance to win as well. So comments, questions, concerns, suggestions, shout outs, LOL smiley faces, totally encouraged, but don't count as an entry to win, people. Next up, we bring you experts. Experts like the U.S. Transportation Command Team. Yes, the ones that were on last week. You got to check that one out. We bring experts from the International Association of Movers, military spouse employment advocates, and military education experts. We bring these experts to you because they are the source. But sometimes you and your military family are going to run into an issue that is specific to your military family. And in those instances, your two forever and always resources will be, number one, your local chain of command. Number two, your local transportation office. Those are the people who know you. Those are the people who are dealing with your stuff. Those are the people who can take your issues and actually further them for action. Last, but certainly not least, let's keep doing our part, people. Let's keep doing our part. We got to flatten that curve. Yes, we do. Whatever it takes. We got to do our due diligence and flatten that curve, because when we do, we flatten he who shall not be named. Do you hear us? M word, we are coming for you. Okay, so I'm going to head over to the comment section really quick and just give a couple shout outs. Hey, Carrie, shout out. I got a little something for you on the back end. Renee Van Allen, it's good to see you again. Oh, Caitlin Hevelin, shout out, Caitlin. Oh, and we see shout outs in here. Enterprise EDC 2021 in the books with great anticipation for a wonderful 2022. Love to hear that. Yes, you all rock. You rock too. And of course, hey girl, hey, how's it going, Claire? It's good to see you. All right. So let's jump right into this. Again, you all are the guests. You are the ones that I'm going to be interviewing, because this would not be possible were it not for you. We did this whole thing for you. When we started this, it was to fill a gap of information at the beginning of the COVID pandemic. And it grew and grew because of you. And because you told us what you needed to hear and the questions that you had, we were able to bring on guests to answer those questions live and in living color. So my first question to all of you, and remember, every time you answer, every time you engage and share and tag, is an entry to win. So first up, I would love to hear what you have learned from us in 2021 that's helped you or has allowed you to help another military family who might be PCSing. So while I'm waiting for those answers, and while I'm waiting to hear from you, because this is really exciting. This is what helps us build our content so that you see what you need to see and talk to who you need to talk to. So while we're waiting on that, shout out from Destin, shout out from Germany, all the way from Germany. She is one of our diehard webinar watchers, and we love her. Alyssa, hi Alyssa. So exciting. I really love this advice. I'm going to take it myself, go in low and slow. Everyone should go into 2022 real nice and calm. I like that advice. I do. I absolutely do. Okay. So Renee said that she's learned so much about how to better prepare for their next PCS, which is fantastic because it's never too early to prepare, right? Just like transitioning from military service, the day you start planning your transition is day one of entering the military. Nobody really thinks that, but even the same thing, the day I get to a new duty station, I'm thinking about the next one. Maybe not for all the right reasons, but it never ever hurts to be prepared. And we've had webinars and we have content on how to prepare, whether that's purging pre-PCS, whether that's organizing through a PCS binder, and just some helpful tips, tricks, and hacks. And we have all of those for you on our Facebook page at pcsgrades.com. Just go under the video slot and check it out. There's probably one for any question that you might have. Let's see. Oh, we've got lots. Okay, Destin. I think just learning the transportation, especially when things were so backed up in July and August. Yes. Okay, so that was a whole nother level, right? People waiting. Am I going? Am I not going? Do I have a mover? Hey, who's picking up my stuff? And when? Those are all questions that we were able to ask the experts about and explain too how that transportation system works, how our stuff goes from point A to point B and what to watch out for. Because that kind of heads up is what my daughter needs when she executes her first PCS in the next couple of months. Caitlin said, I found out other military RVers, if you will, recreational vehiculars, to gain info from our PCS in August that went smoothly. And that hits me right in the feels, right there. Because when we hear the word smooth PCS in the same sentence, we often think that's a unicorn. That's a miracle. But if you're armed with information or a point of contact or somewhere to go or someone to talk to, I mean, hi, way easier, way smoother. Carrie, shout out Carrie. Carrie learned a lot about buying new houses through the awesome program PCS Grades has to offer. Yes, we do. There is a military rewards program through our Realogy Military Rewards where you can get, anywhere from $350 to $7,500 returned to you as a give back, depending on your state. Once you purchase your house and going through PCS Grades. I mean, it's just phenomenal. And when we get a second, we're going to go ahead and drop that link into our comment section. Shout out, Carrie. Let's see. Madison. Well, welcome, Madison. New here and really finding the information to be super helpful. Great group. That is awesome. And I'm super excited to hear that. And I'm assuming that you're referring to the Lost During My PCS group, which if you don't know about Lost During My PCS, let me give you a little hint. A military spouse started this group about 6 years ago because she was sick of having all of her stuff lost during her PCSs. And oh, by the way, getting other people's stuff in her household goods shipment. So she created this group in order to crowdsource finding one another's items. And it grew to be 39,000 plus strong military families. Yes. And we own it, and it is operated by military spouse admins, answering questions about regulations and policy and moving in the household goods process and sharing information from each other's perspectives. That's key. Let's see who else. Okay. Sarah Rudd, shout out to one of our diehards. I learned some tips and tricks to prepare for retirement. Yes, because that's a thing. Again, the sooner you prepare, the more apt you're going to be able to handle those curveballs that are going to come your way. Speaking from experience here, and so is Sarah. Let's see. Oh, wow. You guys are just blowing us up. I'm loving this. Oh, here we go. Van Roy. Shout out, Van. My wife has enjoyed being in the Lost During My PCS group. It's been very helpful. It really has. I mean, if we could tell you, there are so many families that have been reunited with their items from not just last move, but several moves ago. Can you imagine being reunited with those precious items and heirlooms and pictures and just very, very important things in your lives. You know, we move a lot. So sometimes those things, it hurts us to our core. Let me see, who else do we have? Let's see if we have anybody else, because there is, I mean, everyone is just doing so great. Oh, Sarah said also, I was able to send info to 3 friends who are moving overseas, which is perfect, because I don't know if you guys know this, but we've been beefing up our Cronus content. Yes, we have. And, you know, launching that was, it was necessary, because we don't always get to stay stateside as much as we might want to. Or maybe we want to move Oconus and want to know what we're getting into. We have content written by military spouses like us, like you, who've been there, done that, got the handbag, t-shirt, and the shoes. And oh, by the way, we add our regulations, policies, and everything that we know about that process as well. Okay, so my next question is kind of going to go more on a micro level. I want to know, out of all, we've been doing this since March of 2020, and we've had fabulous guests on, all different types that talk about the PCS process as it pertains to them, whether that's EFMP and military connected kids, or U.S. Transportation Command, or the International Association of Movers, right? The people who kind of oversee the people who are handling our stuff. All the way to military spouse employment advocates, because, you know, our jobs, they matter. That happens. PCSing does mess with that. And then housing. Oh, absolutely. You know, we've brought on agents who are also military spouses or veterans who understand what we go through, who are able to explain those VA home loan intricacies, and not in a convoluted way. They break it down Barney style for peeps like me. Okay, let's see. So I want to know, who was your past favorite guest? What was your past favorite topic or guest? I'll go ahead and it's really, really hard, by the way, for me to choose just one, right? I would have to say that my absolute favorite, was when we bring on Transcom. And I mean, like, it's because they have all of that knowledge in one place. And it's not often that we get to talk to those who are working on our stuff behind the scenes. You've got the decision makers and the people who are working on our behalf, and they need to sometimes know what it is that's actually going down with the boots on the ground, if you will. So that was, every single one of those are my favorite. What was your favorite guest? What was your favorite topic? So let's see. Jared, shout out Jared. Jared said, my favorite was Transcom's last webinar, which was last week, December 8th. If you haven't had a chance to see it, you might get some questions asked. And we stay in touch with them. So if you have a question, go ahead and drop it there, because they are answering them. Susan, shout out Susan. You love the videos and the webinars, and we love you for saying that. I love you for saying that. It does take a lot of work to put these on. I know it. I make it seem easy, but it does, and we do it all for you. We have one person, just one. We have done our job. Madison, base reviews, found out about these through giveaways this month and had no idea this resource was here. So helpful when trying to decide to live on or off base. Yeah, I used to think there wasn't an option. I used to thought, like, I'm going here. This is the base he works on. This is the place I have to live. Never really understood that until we had a few more tours under our belt. But no, I mean, having a place to go that is completely unbiased through reviews of people who are living there, like you and me. Yeah, I'm going to trust what you say because you live my life. And that is super important. If I'm going to a duty station that doesn't have the best housing on base, or does and has a great school district near it, I want to know, because I may not be able to get out there before I move. So that's absolutely helpful. Oh, Emily, shout out Emily. I loved the Q&A about PCS pack and load day expectations. Me too. Because, I mean, I said it during that webinar, and I'll say it again. I set my bar very low. My expectations are right here. So everything that happens after that works out is a positive for me, you know. But having those expectations, if you expect to have your stuff day one in your house, and you haven't been notified about that, you're going to be pretty disappointed. So having a way to manage those expectations is key, and we were able to communicate that. Let's see. Okay, Caitlin, shout out Caitlin. Sandbox, shout out Sandbox. Sandbox was very informative on features that are new or that I've never used. Absolutely. Absolutely. I would have thought that once my boot kid service member was out of boot camp, that I wouldn't be able to, what would I use Sandbox for? And to hear about all of the things that they offer and even overseas and deployments, especially since I have a family member, my brand new milspouse daughter who, thought we were all so cool. She had to join our club. She married an airman. And then of course he subsequently deployed because that's what happens. And so to know that this was offered and that this was available for someone like them, just, it hits me in the feels. Let's see. Oh, okay. Destin, tutor.com and Transcom were equally my favorites. Tutor.com. Let me tell you about Maureen from tutor.com. I was having some technical difficulties due to he who shall not be named. And she just picked up where I left off because she too is a milspouse and we have each other's backs. So when I fell off camera, she said, that's okay. I'm just going to go ahead and do MJ's job now. So I'm going to take this question. I mean, come on. That's what we do. Military families take care of one another. And hey, that's what PCS grades is all about. And just for the record, we've got some OCONUS content being dropped. This is where you can go to get those tips, tricks, articles, past webinars, all right there, bam, waiting for you to look at. All right. Dustin, I agree. She absolutely did rock it that day, and I'm going to tell her that you said that. Okay. Let's see. Now, the next one that I would like to say is I want to kind of get from you, I want to know what you still want to know about the PCS process or new duty stations moving forward. What topics do you think need to be addressed heading into 2022? Now, many of the things that we've already talked about in our past webinars can be talked about again, because as we know, change is ever constant in our lives. So of course, we're going to be rehashing a lot of those prep, PCS prep tips, tricks, and hacks. We're going to be talking to Transcom again. We're going to be talking to the International Association of Movers again. We're going to be talking to those people who do for us what and can tell us the things that we need to know about the entire PCS process and how it applies to us. But we want to know, what things have we not covered, or maybe what things do you want to see more of heading into 2022? So Lisa, shout out Lisa. Lisa said, I want to find the best resource to find a good school district. So what you're telling me is that we need to have more military education experts on, which I love. We ordinarily have them on every 3 to 4 months, I would say. They come on board, both our EFMP education advocates, as well as our diehard curriculum knowers, teachers, administrators. They've come on too. So that content and how to find a good school district, what to look for and why, that is a perfect example of a topic that we need to address. So I appreciate that. Let's see. Alyssa, shout out Alyssa. Having local guidelines and such would be super helpful, I think. So we do actually have, area guides, like you're moving to a new duty station and say, you're moving to Camp Lejeune because Marine Corps spouse here, Ura Yut Semper Fi. If I was moving to Camp Lejeune, I can head over to PCS grades and look at their area guides. And it's going to tell me about what the installation's mission is. It's going to tell me what the commute is going to be like. It's going to tell me what the housing market is going to look like, and how much bang for my buck I can get as far as BAH goes. It's even going to tell me about the weather, which is a thing, because I'm going to shout out my girl Jenna here. If you're moving to Joint Base Lewis McChord out in Washington State, you better have a pair of rain boots. And I would love an excuse to go shopping. So just looking at the weather and knowing that I would have to go purchase something like that, I'm down. But those area guides give you a heads up. So local guidelines in terms, if you mean like perhaps in terms of, taxes and, what kind of guidelines specifically would you think about, Alyssa? And while you're looking into that, I'm going to look at, let's see. Wow, you guys are on fire. Okay, this is perfect. I really like this. Sarah, shout out. maybe having a liaison for overseas moves on as a guest, like someone, on from Germany or Korea, Japan, Hawaii, Italy, to help explain what the current process will be like moving overseas. And you have sealed the deal. That in some form has been added to not only our content calendar, but also the webinar calendar. But I really like that you specifically said that liaison. And I want to give a shout out to Caitlin Heveland, because she also suggested the same thing, only on returning to the States, because there is typically a laid out process moving OCONUS, but upon return stateside, sometimes that process is not the same, and not everybody can get their hands on the information needed to have a smooth PCS coming back to the States. So shout out, Sarah. Let's see. Jared, shout out Jared. Bring on CEOs from Liberty Housing, Tierra Housing, etc., the main housing contract holders. So the PPVs. So, the people who work on, with Lincoln Military Housing, or now Liberty Housing, and Balfour Beatty, et cetera, et cetera. So that is something that is being considered. And it's definitely something where we're looking into that, because we do have, lots of different resources, and we have our, local real estate agents coming on and giving us information about the buying and selling process and all of that. But there's also those who choose to live on base, and they do have questions. So I absolutely agree. That's the other side of the coin, and we are looking at that. Let's see. Wow. Oh, this is very interesting. Madison, shout out. Help for foreign spouses when PCSing. She said, I've been hearing more and more about the issues they face when they get married while the service members overseas, and the issues that they face trying to come back to stateside with them. And you're absolutely right. That is a crux. Our foreign-born spouses do have a lot of logistical challenges as it pertains to coming back stateside with their service member. And I think that is a very good idea. And I think that we're going to go ahead and take that note and see what we can do about adding that to our webinar calendar. Good suggestion. See, I'm loving this. Because this is for you. This is for all of you. Let's see. Oh, this is very interesting. Susan, shout out Susan. Family resources would be great. Maybe like your children join the military, now what kind of thing? Oh, preach. Because it's going to be a totally different lens. I'm going to let you in on a little secret, Susan. So my daughter just got done saying she's part of the Mill Spouse Club as of this year, and she decided to promote me to Mimi, and I now have a Mill Kid 2.0 because we don't use the G word here. So I now am looking at this through a totally different lens, but I have the knowledge because PCS grades. Do you think for a second that my daughter's going to listen to me? No. We need something that we can point her to, right? To where she is going to listen. I'm going to point her to you and any reviews you left. I'm going to point her to all the other military families that are in her boat. And I'm going to point her to PCS grades specifically to start from the ground up. It's hard for me to think way back, because I pushed that out of my mind, about what it was like to be a brand new Mill spouse and all of the stuff I didn't know. What do I do now? I forgot about that part. That is what they will now be facing. So walking them through it today is a lot different than the way we walked through it before. I agree, and I think perhaps that is something that we can add to our list, at least as a piece of an article or a blog, for sure. Good suggestion, definitely. Let me see. See, this is definitely one. Thank you. Shout out on the back end. Our girl Jenna, she went ahead and threw this up here. That was a great idea, Susan. People can look through this article here to get ideas, but an entire 101 would be fun. So we've got it. We've got it down. It's on our radar. But there is the link right there, Barney style. That's exactly what we need here. That's what I needed. And yes, Susan, thank you. I'm so glad you have my back on that. I don't make that up. You didn't make that up. It happened. Let's see. Sarah again, I only wish this was available when I first married my airman. It was a hot mess express. A hot mess express. Make that a hashtag. And I'm so thankful our newer spouses and families are getting knowledge from this amazing resource in PCS grades. And oh my gosh, thank you. You don't understand. That makes us feel really good. But it also helps us know that what we're doing in many respects is right. It's working, you know. Jared, add some tips and information how to keep your mental health in check during a PCS. Jared, we see you. In fact, we see you so much that is something that we are heavily concentrating on. We recently released a video courtesy of Corey Weathers. And she is a clinical psychologist, and she's also an Army spouse. And she addressed specifically the stresses that our fellow Hawaii MilFams are currently facing with their water crisis. And she came up with some very tangible tips and tricks, because here's the thing, and she'll acknowledge this herself, Corey will. PCSs is kind of like a mini trauma in many, many respects. And it's one that many of us, most of us, in fact, have to repeat over and over and over again. I heard one military spouse actually equate it to renovating your home. She said when most couples renovate their home, a lot of people say that there's a divorce rate attached to that. And in many ways, the PCS process is similar to that, because your life is in upheaval. Your space is not as sacred as it used to be. Everything is upside down. And we do this every 2 to 3 years, sometimes more. Not to mention our kids. So mental health is absolutely a topic that we've got on track. We are zeroing in. We hear you, and we've heard all of the rest of you as well. We see you. Let's see. Oh, I can relate to this. More MilSpouse book shout outs. The ones I found via your webinars are life. Yes. Oh my gosh. Speaking of which, we're actually giving away today a copy of Lizanne Lightfoot's Open When, Letters of Encouragement to Military Spouses, because, you know, open when you think our service members deployed. So we're going to send them a bunch of letters. Open this one when you're having a hard day. Open this one when this. This is a letter to ourselves where we can go through and we can read these if you're having a hard day. There's a letter of encouragement. If you want to punch somebody in the throat, I don't think it's called that chapter, but it addresses many of those things. So shout out, absolutely. And, you know, our military kid author, Charmaine Perry Knights, who wrote I Move a Lot and That's Okay. That's perfect. I can't tell you how many times I've already heard about somebody reading that book and telling them that it helped their kids. I mean, I can't even. Yes. Oh, shout out, Charmaine. Speak of the devil. But yes, thank you, Caitlin. That was perfect. That's perfect. So now that we've kind of gotten through here, and keep in mind, keep your ideas coming. I want to know, what do you want to see? Who do you want to hear from? And I mean, again, this is for you. We're gonna listen. I don't know if you guys know this about me. I have a hard time saying no. No, I don't have time, except for my kids. So I'm going to use a little bit of this time. And if you don't know about some of this, that's okay, because we're going to drop some of the recaps in the comment section afterwards. But we've been doing a lot. You know, when we have to pivot because of this whole, you know, because of COVID, we've had to pivot. That's our lives on the daily. So at PCS Grades, we did an about face and we figured it out. We still were able to bring it hard. So I'm going to go over some of the things that we've been doing, because we've been busy. Our team, it consists of, all of us are either veterans, military brats, or military spouses. We all have an affiliation to the military in one branch or another. Marine Corps here again, ooh-rah. So our founder and CEO, Todd Ernst, spoke at the Military Family Congressional Caucus on a panel about PCSing, which was huge that we were invited, because we were able to showcase our resources, but also speak from an expert's perspective about what we're seeing with the PCS process. We also had that we were inducted into the Military Spouse Employment Program, and MSEP is awesome. They had their 10-year celebration, and yours truly was asked to sit on a panel to speak a little bit about our Spouse Ambassador Network and how we've been contributing to the overall success for military families and their employment, because PCSing does impact employment, correct? We did a great initiative with Moving with the Military, Maria Reed, shout out, where we were able to help assist and sponsor in creating a pantry for a needy school in Charleston, South Carolina. And we filled that pantry and created a space top to bottom with all of the volunteers. It was amazing. And so I will actually end up dropping the link to that show, Moving with the Military. It is a thing. And you can see that, and you can see everyone wearing our PCS grades gear, which we will be giving away a t-shirt today. Our webinars, obviously, huge, right? I can't tell you how many of these that I have done, but I can tell you that each and every one has meant something to my heart because I have met so many of you through this. Our spouse club fundraisers and being able to give a spouse club money and help fund them when they get their members to do reviews. For every review they did, we gave $5, and that was able to help them. And especially in the pandemic, fundraising is hard. We did our 12 days of holiday giveaways, which I'm going to announce a few of those winners today. And it was very, very successful. In fact, just alone with just 3 of the days, we got like 180 plus reviews, which is out of this world. And every single one of those reviews goes to you. You're going to read those reviews and be more educated before you even walk into the door of your new duty station. Again, I'm pointing my daughter there because she's not going to listen to me. We had our Ditty our PCS story contest, which I know some of you were winners, where, you know, the Home Depot and Radisson Rewards Americas came and dropped in points and gift cards, and we were able to give away 2 full service Ditty moves for free to PCSing military families. For real, that happened. We also we created courses for the Military Spouse Advocacy Network's mentorship hub. Can you imagine? Like, that's literally where I'm going to send my daughter, because it's a course on going through PCSing, from prepping for your move, going through your move, settling at your new duty station, from start to finish, unique situations, where to go find information, and some low stakes quizzes, which I thought were cool. But I promise your GPA is not riding on it. There is no fail. Okay. So I would absolutely, we're going to drop that link too. I would absolutely advocate that you check that out as well. And then we partnered with the National Military Family Association and started the Neighbor in the Know partnership. We have a hub for PCS resources on militaryfamily.org. Yes, it's super exciting because we work together to create this for you. We have a new blog, a new look, new links with expert interviews, and a Know Before You Go series for our OCONUS moves. And that is in progress. We've got more area guides. We've got 95 more area guides than we had last year. By the way, all of the information that we get is absolutely accurate because it's by the people who live there. That's right. You heard me say it. Just going to scroll down here a little bit and see what you guys have been talking about while I've been kind of going to town. And I mean, it's not to be braggadocious. That's not why I'm highlighting all of the things that we've done this year. But here's the thing. Even PCS grades became a vetted military one source relocation resource. That is huge to be able to be part of that contract, because we all know military one source. So to be able to get help, not just through PCSgrades.com, but also get PCS grades resources through military one source is fantastic as well. So it's not to be braggadocious. It's to show you that everything that we do has you in mind, and that's why we do it. Let's see what everybody's been saying. Oh my goodness, Sarah. So many amazing partnerships. Love it. Absolutely. And by the way, when it comes to partnerships, we are one team, one fight over here. Okay. If you've got one finger, that can do a lot of damage, right? But if you ball all those fingers into a fist, packs a mightier punch, wouldn't you say? Let's see. Oh, Julie Moser, shout out, spouse sponsor from Fort Hood. Speaking of spouse sponsors, I can't believe I left that off the list, but maybe I was saving the best for last. We built a spouse sponsor program. Here's the gist, people. If my husband gets orders, he's probably going to get a sponsor. Someone to tell him where to go, where not to go, what to do, who to talk to, all the logistics of the new area. But of course, in my case, my husband was out the door 2 days after we PCS'd, and who's dealing with the logistics? Hi, shout out, boo. So where's my sponsor? enter the spouse sponsor program. We've got spouse sponsors, military spouses like you and me, who live in specific areas, all the way from Fort Belvoir here in Virginia, all the way to Hawaii. We've got 2 in Hawaii, on both sides of the island. And so these are the people that are boots on the ground. These are the people who are going to be able to give you relocation resources, tell you about the area, help you navigate PCS grades relocation resources. And you're going to see their face at some events. And they're also the people that if they have an EFMP child, instead of going to Google, okay, that's where the office is, that's where I need to go, they can say, oh, okay, no, you want to go to the EFMP office? Here's so-and-so, here's the direct line, let me give you a warm handoff. Who wouldn't want that? That's a heads up before you even get there. How amazing is that? So shout out to all of our spouse sponsors, both here and in Hawaii. Let's see. Oh, Renee, we need someone in Charlottesville. Well, that's another thing. If you can think of a few locations where you think that it might be needed or necessary to have someone with boots on the ground, let us know. Again, none of this we need to know what's happening in your area so that we can take a closer look. It says here, shout out to Jenna, who's on the back end. We're looking for new spouses at Fort Rucker, JBLM, get those rain boots, and Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. So go ahead and PM us if you live at any of those locations. Or if you know someone who does, point them our way too. Let's see. Wow. You guys are just exploding. I'm really, really loving this. Wow. You guys, I'm sorry. I'm getting a little, wow. I'm loving it. Okay. Let's see. How about we give away some prizes? I would first like to announce the winners, a few of our winners from the 12 days giveaway that we've had for the last couple of weeks. Every day we gave away something new and different, and it just helped other people know about PCS grades a little bit more so it can help them the next time they PCS, which they most likely will. So for this particular one, it's a $135 HelloFresh gift card. And that is going to Amber Young. Woo! Can I get some hearts flying up in here if you're watching on mobile? Haven't figured out how to do it yet on the regular computer. All right, so congratulations, Amber. $135 HelloFresh gift card. Next up, an R Riveter Auto Purse. Now, we all love our Riveter up in here, okay? Off the chain, fantastic bags, and we love when Cameron comes and visits us. She is a co-founder of our Riveter. And so the winner of the auto purse from our Riveter is going to be Julie Nodden. Woo! Yes! Good to go. Congrats, Julie. And last but certainly not least, because this was a very successful one, we are giving away a Nintendo Switch. Which, by the way, when I was talking about this with my husband, both of my kids were like, whoop, their heads were on a swivel. Yes, that happened. So a Nintendo Switch is going to be going to Lacey Rodriguez. Woohoo! Okay, now let's get on to our prizes. Well, they all are our prizes, but these ones have not been. There were 2 webinars that we were not able to do the Wheel of Names because of some technical difficulties. The first one was with our girl Maureen, who took over for me and hosted several times when I had to deal with internet issues. And the winner of the tutor.com package is Carrie Novak. Congratulations, Carrie. The tutor.com bag will be coming your way. And that consists of a lunchbox with a really cool water bottle and a gift card to Subway. Next up for for Transcom, our Transcom one last week. Yep. We have a Hope Design This Too Shall PCS necklace. And that's going to go to Denise West. Shout out, Denise. Great questions during the webinar. Love it. Okay. So I have 3 more things to give away. And what's very interesting is, because the M word decided to step into our lives, today, the person who's usually on the back end with us, who is Teresa, shout out Teresa on the replay, she had to step away for a family emergency, and she usually collects all the names. Now, I don't know if you guys know how awesome you are, but you guys would probably be breaking the wheel of names right now. So what I'm going to do is scroll up and down and not look, and I'm just going to click on a name. So the first one is going to be for Open When by Lizanne Lightfoot. Open When, Letters of Encouragement to Military Spouses. A copy of that will be sent to Sarah Rod. Sarah Rod. Didn't even see it, just clicked it. Boom. Sarah Rod. Open When. And I do know that your husband did just retire, but I also know that you know a mill spouse who could absolutely benefit from that. So however you want to do that, if you want to read it and then pass it on and share the good word of Open When, that would be awesome too. All right. Our next one will be for a PCS Grades t-shirt. Van Roy. And by the way, Van, our shirts are unisex, and and they are awesome. They're very comfy. So if you wouldn't mind messaging the PCS Grades Facebook page after this, just let us know your size and your mailing address. That would be great. We'll go ahead and get that out to you. Shout out. Okay, and last but certainly not least, we're going to do a $200 Our Riveter gift certificate, which we'll be sending you. So, drum roll, please, people. And that's going to go to, scroll. Renee Van Allen. Renee. Congratulations. You're going to get a $200 gift certificate to Our Riveter. You can do a lot of damage with that. A lot of damage. All right. So I just want to say thank you to you all for an amazing year. I cannot even begin to tell you just how much you give to me, as much as we give to you. Again, our goal in starting this was to help at least one person, and we have exceeded that times 1,000. And the more you share this, the more military spouses and military families and service members are going to have a better PCS experience. It may not be the best, but anything that we can do to lessen each other's loads would be fantastic. Remember, the military family takes care of one another. Thank you so much for being a part of this with me and with my team. And until next year, this too shall PCS. Bye, everybody.